Immediate thing. Good evening. I'm Richard Doré. I would like to welcome you here at the Harvard Church to Let's Talk Live. Tonight as my guest I have Harold Heartwell, who is on the staff of the Long Beach Rescue Mission. And the mission started about 5 decades ago. And over the years, I mean, that's like almost 50 years, tens of thousands of people. And right now, they mainly support the homeless in Long Beach, which numbers men and women, numbers about 1,900. And it's a fairly significant number when you think that California, as the whole state, has a homeless population somewhere like around 134,000. And if you're local and you consider the size number of people, that's a little short of the population of Torrance. And so what I wanted to do was, like Harold, to talk about the mission and just how important it is to this area. So Harold, how did the mission start?
Well, it was actually a brainchild back in 1971 of Wayne and Janet Terrell. They were the founders, and it was incorporated in 1971, and the first meals were served August 7th in 1972, which was actually in a shoe store, which is now where the World Trade Centers are.
Oh, really?
In Long
On
Beach.
Ocean?
On Ocean, yes.
Oh, okay.
And then in 1973, we opened a children's shelter and Lydia House. And Lydia House was originally a house, an old house on Daisy Street in Long Beach. And then I got right here in 1982 we had the men's mission built, which is Samaritan House.
That's the one you have now?
1335 Pacific.
Okay.
And then a year later we had the women's house, Lydia House, built where the children's yard used to be at 1400 Pacific.
Okay.
And that is the first women's shelter in all of Southern California, including San Diego, to house women and children.
Wow.
In all of Southern California.
Impressive. Okay.
And now we're there. We feed the homeless. We house the homeless. We do about 600 meals a day. We have different programs to help the homeless to get off the street, hopefully break whatever cycle that got them there, and just trying to help out our local community.
Yeah. Now, additionally, though, I think we had mentioned before, I know with Lydia House, I think that's very impressive what you do. But don't you also have a youth center and I think a thrift shop now?
Yes, well, the youth center, we don't so much have a youth center. We have a play area for the children
Okay.
out back.
Uh-huh.
Yes, we have a thrift store that's located at 702 Anaheim Street, which all the proceeds from that go back into the mission.
That's a successful way to help
And
donations.
yes, and we accept donations. Some, not much furniture, but a lot of household goods, resellable clothes, and the people that are staying at the mission actually staff the thrift store. We have a couple of staff members, but the men that live in the
They're
mission
actually living there.
work there.
Okay. And what the Samaritan House, I think you said it has about 140 beds.
140
so you can
beds,
hold
yes.
a good amount, and not only with meals, obviously, but you also can deal with clothing, hygiene, a whole
Yes.
variety of.
Everybody that stays there, we will provide clothing, hygiene, shampoo, dental care, anything that, any necessity that they might need while they are there,
Uh-huh.
we try to provide for them so that there are no wants to survive.
Okay.
You know, because it'd be easier to give somebody a meal and say, "Are you happy now?" But if their shoes have holes in them,
Yeah.
they don't have clean clothes, and also we have a 1-year new life program, and those guys, we do their laundry for them.
Okay.
Obviously, they get the beds. We wash their bedding once a week. They have lockers to put stuff away in,
Okay.
and 3 meals a day,
Good.
and
Okay.
try and provide what's needed. We're not going to give everybody what they want.
No.
But
Yeah, well, I do want to get into that program because that I think helps really transition people. But right now, let's just say if we do just what you can do in more immediate services, I think what about 80% of the homeless are men and 20% women?
Yeah, I'd say
Yeah.
pretty much, yeah.
Now, what happens if you have, I think you've had the opportunity, when you have a family, getting a homeless family?
Well, the Long Beach Police Department has what's called the QOL, which stands for Quality of Life. And we'll call them, or if we can't get in touch with QOL, it's called the Multi-Service Center in Long Beach. And we call them, and they can usually find a good temporary housing for them and try and keep the family together as much as possible.
Yeah.
And in some circumstances, we have housed the man, the father, at the Samaritan House, and the mother and the child over at Lydia House. And there's a park in between where they can meet and be a family,
Okay.
and we can feed them together.
Okay. Now, in many cases, though, a lot of the homeless you have, a pretty good percentage, really have no shelter. So you obviously provide a place
Yes.
to sleep and everything like
Yes.
that.
Yes.
So I guess with 140 beds, those are pretty full the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah. We usually have a waiting list of about 10 days.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, is that 10 days to get in, or
Yeah, once
can they stay for 10 days? Oh.
No, a 10-day waiting list. Once you come up and apply for a bed, it usually
Whoa.
takes about 10 days before you can actually get a bed in there.
So you could use more beds.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And we were talking about doing some expansions, which property has already been acquired for that,
Yeah.
which we're using as a parking lot
Oh,
right now.
excellent. Okay.
But just further on down the road, we are going to be expanding
Yeah.
both the men's and the women's house.
Okay. Now, I noticed I think you said you serve about 600 meals a day.
600 meals a day, yeah.
Where do you get the food?
It's all donated.
Oh.
Just everything except for perishable, which like vegetables and stuff like
Yes.
that. Some of that is donated. There's some community gardens throughout Long Beach. They donate their surplus,
Mm-hmm.
which helps out a lot. But most of our food comes from like Albertsons, Costco, Sam's Club, and there's a few companies like catering companies, and also the convention center, their catering company donates their leftovers.
Okay.
Which right now is slow because of the COVID They've not been doing many functions, but they usually donate quite a bit. But,
Yeah.
but our food is 90%, if not more, donated.
Okay. And when it's in set, do you get donations from Long Beach School District?
Yes, we do. We
Okay.
get the milk and anything that might be surplus
Okay.
that might be going bad with them. We also get donations from Rockview Dairy,
Okay.
which is really good. We get a lot of milk, eggs, butter, and various dairy products
Okay.
from them.
Okay. Now, with the school district, though, you have something to do with backpacks?
We do a backpack drive every year,
Oh.
and we collect thousands of backpacks, and we load them with all the essentials, and we give them to all the schools, including a lot of people don't realize that Avalon,
Avalon,
Catalina Island
Interesting.
is a Long Beach
I
Unified
did
School
not know
District,
that. No, I did
and
not
we
know
take about 500 backpacks over there every year,
Oh,
which is, I try to elect for that job every year, and
very,
I've only got chosen once.
very that impression. One thing we had talked about, though, I think when your website you had mentioned that a lot of the homeless also have difficulties with substance abuse and mental issues and
Yeah.
stuff like that. What else how, are there any special activities to help them?
Well, the substance abuse, there's usually a root cause behind that.
Yeah.
And, you know, something that we push strongly is abstinence. You cannot stay there if you're high or drunk
Okay.
because it could pollute the pool.
Okay.
But we try to get to the root cause of that and find out why are you drinking, what are you escaping from, and they have counselors there to help you. And if you have mental health issues, we will send you to Long Beach Mental Health, or there's a place called La Casa, and see if we can get a handle on that.
Okay.
If there's meds that you need or further counseling, and try and get that handled. Because somebody with a severe mental health problem will not grasp the other things we're trying to teach them until they get a handle on the mental health problem.
Yeah. Okay. I noticed also on your website, when I was looking at it, I thought it was interesting. You had a thing called Ways to Help. And one of the things you say, Ways to Help, you want a daily prayer. So obviously you
Yeah.
put a lot of emphasis on Christ and,
Yes.
and prayer.
Yes. Well, we are a faith-based organization.
Yeah.
And the staff over at Samaritan House, we open our day up with devotion and prayer. Staff does. We also have the people in the program every morning. They start their day out with a half-hour devotion. And,
Okay.
you know, we believe Christ is the way to everything.
Yeah.
You know, he may not get you your new Ferrari, but if you need wheels, somehow Christ will get them for you. You know, if you need them,
Yeah, you're right.
you know, he's not going to give you everything you want,
want-
but he will give you what you need.
That's right, yeah.
You
I
know.
get you.
And if it's just a bus pass for now, be happy you have that.
Well, you know, you also, what I liked about, particularly about the mission, is the next part we're going to be discussing. It's not just come for a meal and then
No.
goodbye. You have the workforce development
Well,
program.
New Life program.
And your New Life and then your Bridge program, which is really that idea to help these people learn how to become self-sufficient.
Yes.
And I think that's a key element that a lot of places that are like soup kitchens, all it is a meal. And I really appreciate that. And I know that my wife and I were talking about this earlier, and we kind of thought it was somewhere in Matthew in the gospel, but apparently it wasn't. Apparently it's a Confucius saying, give a man to fish and you'll feed him for a day, teach a man to fish and you'll feed him for a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
And I like, that's kind of the attitude you are taking in these programs.
Yes. Well, the New Life program actually is from Jesus saying that, you know, all will have a new life with me. And we were trying to break the cycle of what got the person on the street originally. We wanted, you know, the meal, you know, the best way to get a man's attention is feed him. But that's only going to hold his attention until he's got a full belly.
Sure.
So we're trying to get to the root cause of what got them in our doors originally. Why are they on the street? We want to find out what that is and keep them from going back to that. Teach them that Jesus does love them and Jesus will help them. We have a computer lab where they can, if they're missing paperwork like the driver's license, identification, birth certificate, social security card, we can help acquire that for them. And then we have what's called a workforce where we try to help them get skills to not only get a job. Getting a job is a lot easier than keeping one.
Yeah.
And not only get a job, during their time in the New Life program, we try to teach them what would help them keep the job. And so hopefully at the end of when we're done working with them, that they do not end out in the same situation that got them there in the first place.
Yeah.
And we have a pretty high graduation rate of over 60%.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, we try and do everything we can. We are limited, but we do everything we can because the New Life program is a one-year program. And then we have what's called the Bridge program, which is up to 18 months.
Mm-hmm.
So they can live there up to 30 months.
Oh, really? Oh, so they live at the Samaritan House.
They live there during the both.
And what they could full meal? You basically they live there and you take care of everything.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And the Bridge program is what they've learned in the New Life program. They can slowly put that to work, and hopefully get to work, save money, because we require them to save 80% of their income, regardless if it's general relief, if they're on Social Security, what have you, whatever their income is, they're required to save 80% of it. And then upon their time of leaving, we will give it back to them.
Oh, so it's like a savings account.
Yes.
Well, okay, that's good. That's good.
And and hopefully at the end of their time there, they've saved enough they can have an apartment, still have savings.
Yeah.
And and hopefully get and sustain a job. And we have programs to help them with low-income housing. Different places we work with, and then we have places that actually hire people that have graduated the program. There's I don't know the name of the company, but they run it's called the Grand Hotel out in Arizona on the Grand Canyon.
Oh, okay.
And we have sent about a dozen people out there to work.
Really?
And right now I think we still have like 6 people out there working. The front desk man at the Grand Hotel,
still, that's excellent.
Graduate of our program.
Excellent. Okay, good. Just out of curiosity, are you able to work with any of the schools or community colleges or something to help with the teaching, or do you have to do that?
Yeah, we're getting some programs just started with actually one of the community colleges that they're going to be coming in. This actually started before COVID.
Okay.
But then COVID kind of put the brakes on it.
Sure.
And we set it up. They're going to be coming in once a week teaching class. And I'm not sure what the class was because, as I said, it just...
I understand.
The ball
I'm
just
sure
started
COVID
rolling.
affected everybody. I'm sure it's affected
the ball just started rolling when COVID started.
Yeah.
And so the brakes got put on, and things are starting to ease up now, so more information to come on that one.
Well, even like with COVID, when your meals, you used to like to serve them in basically a restaurant type of or a home type setting with China. Now you're somewhat restricted to giving everybody takeout boxes.
Yeah, we would love, because what we would do is they would come in, they would sit through a 15-minute church service, and then we'd feed them a meal on glass plates with real silverware, with real napkins, and we would actually go around picking up plates if they needed. We had an area for handicap, and depending on how many people we were feeding at that time, seconds.
Yeah.
And the beginning of the month, the number's a little bit lower because people have got their Social Security, their general relief, what have you. But the second half of the month, we really start getting busier.
Okay.
Because everyone's running out of money.
Yeah, that's true. You're not restricted to being homeless.
No.
I mean, almost anybody can
Well, there's people that
come
we
in.
serve that they have a place to live, but they're on a limited income.
Sure, they have
And
difficulties.
and
Sure.
they have a choice of shoes or a meal, and they have to get shoes. And it doesn't matter if you pull up in a Ferrari or if you're pushing a shopping cart. If you come to our doors, we'll feed you.
Oh, that's nice.
No questions asked.
That's nice. Now I know that Easter is coming up pretty soon,
Yes.
and you have the Easter meal.
We're going to be giving out Easter
Okay.
baskets. I don't have the exact information when we're going to be giving the baskets out, but usually what we will do is we'll do an Easter breakfast, and the evening before we'll do a meal, a dinner. We try to do meals like that the eve before, so that they can spend that evening hopefully with loved ones,
Okay.
family, what have
Okay.
you. And then the morning of the holiday, we'll do a breakfast, which is usually pancakes, bacon, eggs.
Okay,
you know,
basic good stuff. Yeah.
and the dinner will be ham, turkey dressing, pumpkin pie.
Oh,
You know, it's going to
like
be
a full meal.
full meal.
Sure.
Yes.
And I take it you do this also in like Thanksgiving and
Same
any
thing.
other
Thanksgiving,
holidays?
Christmas,
are
and
those
Easter.
kind of the big? I guess
The big
Easter,
three.
Thanksgiving, and Christmas are
Yeah.
kind of the big
And
three.
we do it the same way.
Okay.
The evening before we do the dinner, and the morning of we do the breakfast.
Okay. Excellent.
And usually for Christmas we give out stockings and presents to the children.
Oh, okay.
You know that obviously the parent has to have the child with them.
Yeah.
And we get a lot of donations, and we separate them by age and gender, and we have a Santa Claus, and they all
Okay.
get a stocking, and
Yeah.
one of the best presents, I guess, a little boy, when he sat on Santa's lap, he wanted a red razor. And guess what we had sitting there?
You had one?
He got a red razor. He was in tears.
I must have loved it.
Oh, well, you know, Santa's real. He got me
Sure.
what I wanted.
Sure.
And it's funny, we only had one red razor there, and they'd already, when they seen his age and as a
Perfect.
boy, they'd pulled it aside and said, we'll give him this. And
Perfect.
yeah.
Perfect. Well, what are like when you're let's concentrate on these meals though. You must have an actually heavier turnout though for like the Easter, Thanksgiving, and Christmas meals.
Yeah.
So I guess that probably brings people from the neighborhood that might not normally.
Yeah, we've
come.
been known to serve like 1,200 dinners.
Whoa.
Yeah. For like a Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving dinner.
That's good
1,200
turnout.
meals,
That's
yeah.
That's a good turnout.
Well, our dining room seats 120,
Uh-huh.
and we've done like 8, 9 seatings in
Sure. Sure.
there with a full.
Well, I know that my sister-in-law, when they lived in Austin, Texas, her church, she headed up called Mobile Loaves and Fishes. And we were there one Thanksgiving, and we helped out at one of their Thanksgiving dinners. Judy and I both went, worked the dinner, did the service and everything like that. And yeah, it was, I must admit, that was a real nice thing to do. It does. It makes you feel good when you can participate in something like that.
Coming with those times of year, we actually get so many volunteers we have to turn them away.
Yeah.
Because we could only use, with the dining room that size, we can only use so many, but we'll have, the volunteers will do like 2 seatings,
Yes.
and then we'll get another, because it's very hectic
Okay.
trying to do the turnover that much,
Okay.
and that small of a dining room.
Okay.
But yeah, volunteers are a wonderful backbone to our ministry.
Okay. Well, I noticed that in the programs, the New Life in the Bridge program, well, I guess there's been some success. You were in
Yes,
the program, right?
I'm a graduate.
Okay. You're a
I
graduate.
graduated in 2014.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you get to keep in touch with a lot of people who have gone through this
Yes,
program, and
yes.
how pretty successful.
Yes. Of course, we're not 100% successful, but there's a lot of people that, they have moved on. They're working in other ministries
Sure.
or other jobs helping people still.
Yes. Okay.
And a lot of them I still keep in touch with.
Excellent.
And we may not be in touch on a regular basis as much as I'd like to be, for holidays and stuff like that. And some of them is, they may just get a Happy Easter from me, and they don't hear me from me again
Okay.
until Thanksgiving. But they get it every year. And
Okay.
one of them said Harold the Rock, because he knows he's going to get one every year,
Okay.
as long as his phone number doesn't change.
Okay.
And he just moved out to Indiana, and he
Okay.
said, my phone number's not changing.
Okay. Well, I think it was really nice. I mean, because the way you're, the faith base and stuff, you see a lot of this, and people getting in touch with you. You really see God's hand in the transition
Yeah.
that's affected these people, and it just, I mean, it turned their lives around.
Well, that we want them to see that we are just a messenger. That God has put us here to serve, not to be served.
Yeah.
We're here to help them, because, like at the men's house, at Samaritan House, almost everyone that's staffed there is a graduate of the program.
Really?
Yes. I think the only one at Samaritan House that is not a graduate of the program is Chaplain Zimmerman. Everybody else that works in that building has graduated the program.
Oh, excellent.
And so we've personally experienced the help
Yeah.
of Christ. And what a better way to learn that Christ can help these people than to have experienced it ourselves.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, obviously, running a mission obviously requires a lot of everything, volunteers, donation, and stuff like that. And I was particularly impressed with what the mission does after they feed the people to really help transition their lives into, just active, regularly God-blessed lives. And that prompted me. I'd like to give you a donation
Well,
for particularly the Easter dinner.
oh, well,
I think
thank
it
you
would
very
really help.
much.
And
Well,
stuff.
God bless you.
And I think people that Josh, who runs Josh Whalen, might have the address of, either at the end of the show, the address of the mission, if you would also like to donate. Now, obviously, along with donations, though, you can always use volunteers.
Volunteer.
And I understand you have a lady that comes in. She brings in her sewing machine so
yes.
she can fix all the
Yeah,
clothing.
every Tuesday
people's
we have a
clothing.
seamstress that comes in for free and repairs the clothing for the men as needed, doing hemming pants, sewing buttons, new zippers, whatever they need. I've even had her repair some of my stuff.
Okay.
And it's lovely to be able to go to work. She comes in after lunch and say, hey, can you do this? And when I'm ready to go home from work, it's folded up there nice and neat and repaired.
Okay. Well, what else can the community do to help the mission?
Well, first, everyone could pray.
Yes.
The people that feel like it, that everybody needs prayer. And, with COVID going around, we've been lucky. We've had one outbreak of COVID in there, and we actually had to close our doors through Christmas. Pray for health, not only there, but all over. If you have the time and you'd like to volunteer, you could always go to our website,
Okay.
lbrm.org, and find out there. Donating food.
Okay.
Food is always good, preferably non-perishable.
Sure.
And money always helps, because a lot of people don't realize it costs over $3 million a year to run that place.
Really?
Yes.
That's a lot of donations.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of donations.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. So, if you have any questions, you can go to the website and get more information.
Okay.
You can call, and they could direct your phone call to whoever can answer the question
Yes.
you may have about if you have a certain gift that you'd like to give us, or just any other questions
Sure.
in general, or if you know people that need help.
Sure.
Like we do have a waiting list, but there's special cases that we help out. It's a special cases are case-by-case service.
Sure.
And some people, we do see the need that they need to come in now.
Okay.
And we've done that. It's like, no, come here. Here, let's get you someplace to lay down and sleep it off, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
And then if people have something like extra clothing or
Clothing.
appliances, you can donate to the thrift shop, and
Yes.
then you can help with the.
Yeah. clothing,
help with the cost
some
there.
appliances. We're not really big on furniture and appliances
Yeah.
because they take up a lot of space and they move slowly.
Sure.
And something sitting on the floor there doesn't get money coming in the doors to help.
Sure. No.
But clothing,
yeah.
clothing definitely.
And knickknacks,
household
silverware.
goods.
Yeah. Household. Yeah. Houseware. Yeah. Okay.
Housewares and all that stuff is just about all welcome.
Good.
Um, time is always good. You know, people want to volunteer.
Okay.
It's a whole different experience.
Yes.
It's very humbling when you go in there and you see the joy on somebody's face getting a hot meal. That,
Oh,
you
yes.
know, especially
I've
with
seen
the
that,
weather
yes.
like we've had
I've seen
today. And and if they have any special skills, teaching skills or anything with COVID going away, we're going to be opening stuff up again.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe if they have special skills that they want to volunteer some time that way. We have gentlemen there that can't read very well, need tutors with math.
Okay. Sure.
Things like that. And I think the most important thing it takes with some of these people is patience.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, and they're not, a lot of these people that come off the streets, they're not very used to being treated with patience and kindness.
Yeah.
So it kind of takes a little more of a kick glove with them at first till they realize that you don't want something back.
Yeah.
You know, they're not used to people just giving to them and saying, okay, do you need any more? They're used to people saying, okay, here's this. Now what can you do for me? And you know, so it's really a big adjustment for them.
Yeah. And you're the people who use the mission, they're like teenage to 70s, right? So you have a wide
we get
a wide range of ages.
Yeah, from 18 years old to people that are well into their 70s actually.
Okay.
And it changes. It's not seasonal, but there'll be a time when all of a sudden we're getting a bunch of 20-something-year-olds. Then 6 months later it'll be a bunch of 40-something-olds.
Yeah.
And it's not seasonal, like, okay, it's summertime, we're going to get it's going to be this. No, it's just, but it's strange how it happens.
Yeah.
And just like, here's a wave of these, here's a wave of these, and it doesn't matter to us.
Good.
If you need help, and we're able to do it. Like I said, shopping cart or a Ferrari, we're not asking.
Hey, no, that's
We had a guy in the program that drove a Corvette.
Ooh.
And we used to tease him about it. The only guy in Long Beach Rescue Mission that has a Corvette.
That would be good.
That is something that he had acquired before he ran into hard times. It's like the one thing that he wasn't going to get rid of.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Harold, I thank you very much.
Well,
we appreciate this. Harold's a graduate of Narbonne High here in Lomita, and he attends our church. And again, if you have any time or any desire or calling and stuff like that, helping out missions like the Long Beach Rescue Mission is just a wonderful thing to do. Obviously, there's many missions throughout the Los Angeles area. But I like Long Beach Mission in particular because they go beyond just giving the meal. They really work to help change the people's lives. So I thank you for tuning in tonight. Next week, Pastor Phil will be heading up the session, and then we're going to have a replay on the 17th of March. Because we just won't have a full staff ready to do that. And that's St. Patrick's Day. So in honor of St. Patrick's Day, I wore my green shirt. And I just want to again thank you all for listening in, and God bless you, and may you have a wonderful week.